Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Abraham Mohammed, Adam, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Blue Ridge Ranger, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Chow Yun Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gaffer, David Robinson, David Wayne Foster, Daz Studio 68, Edwin Johnson, Owen Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik 86, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Maria Neeland, Matt, Missouri Bear, Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Nai Rob H, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Steve ALM, theflatearthchannel.com, The Real Gabster, Tina Baker, Tom Herkins, Unbelievable Productions, and Windrider. So a massive shout out to all of you who support me on Patreon. Now, before I set up for the first live show, I'm going to hopefully get the attention of whoever's in the Discord and G Plus panels so you can enjoy their dulcet tones.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Afternoon.
Talked my wife into letting me get some sound deadening. So the place that I'm broadcasting from is like completely exposed walls. It's really echoey. Not that anybody's probably that concerned about it. Most people aren't that fussed about the sound quality, but in like little incremental stages I've been improving the show. One of the things I've always intended to do is put some sound deadening in. It's just getting it by the wife because it's ugly. So I'm finally convinced her to let me have one, which will go directly behind me. Hopefully that'll improve things. Not that it's terrible, but it is a bit echoey.
So wait, you're in another room right now? Hold on.
Say again? Not a roommate.
Are you in another room right now?
No, I'm always in the same room. I'm in our lounge, but obviously it's also doubles as my studio, so there's certain limitations on things I can get away with, and to incorporate it into a lounge, if you can imagine having kids running around, I can't put the studio lights somewhere that are accessible, so they've got to be sort of tucked away, but able to be turned on, and same goes for everything else. Everything's on sort of boom stands, and so it means I can move it out of the way or swing it out of the way after I'm done. So it does take a fair bit of time to actually set it all up before the show actually starts. But like I say, one of the things that's always bugged me is I can hear an echo. Not an echo as in like a feedback delay type echo, but the room itself is just quite echoey.
Even if it is, I think everybody's used to it by now that they don't notice it.
No, I don't doubt that they do, but it's just one of those things that, you know, if you go back 5 years, when I first started doing flat earth videos and actually appearing on camera as opposed to making videos about hi-fi or whatever, I start off with just the webcam I've got as my backup camera and its mic, and if you look at those videos I sound and look horrendous because the camera's cheap and so is the mic. And then, like I say, over time I've just bought a little bit at a time and improved the setup slowly. That's just one of the things that's been on the list. I said I wanted a better camera to my wife. She's like, why? You're only on camera for about 10 seconds. I'm like, yeah, so? I want it to look better.
Well, it seems like you put the marriage first, and you seem responsible with your family, so you got your priorities set good, it seems.
Yeah, it's working out ways of incorporating it in so it doesn't disturb your family, but to be perfectly frank, for 3 hours a day it absolutely does because they're not in the room.
Yeah, but you seem to get along with your wife and listen to her, and it's not just you. It's like you guys together kind of thing.
Oh, definitely. Well, yeah, she's my wife. I know. I should say.
Yeah.
I say that, and it's under the misapprehension that everybody's got a great relationship, and I know that's not the case, but
Yeah, like I remember seeing that when you guys went to pick up a pumpkin, and it just
yeah.
looks like you guys are doing well.
Yeah, we don't do anything like that at the moment. But on the other hand, on the other show, I was chatting about watching certain things on a Sunday that my wife didn't even appreciate, probably because she's out and about doing things at that particular time. But obviously, we're not doing as much stuff because there's not as much stuff to do. So, but we get on really well. So it doesn't. It's not like when we're discussing the fact that there may be an adverse effect to locking everybody in their homes. Which was actually highlighted first by Thomas Sheridan, although this has made it into mainstream news now, which is that there might be a certain amount of domestic violence that's actually occurring behind closed doors that nobody's even aware of. And that will only come to the surface when the new normal becomes the new normal. Anyway, that's something that you think, okay, well, that obviously means that when people are confined with each other, it highlights whether or not they actually get on with each other. Do you actually like your partner? Some might say no. For us, it's like, yeah, well, I'm very grateful I'm in love with my wife, and likewise for her, and we've got a good family and love our kids, because we haven't had any issues. Things have gone on normally in our household. In other words, there hasn't been suddenly a height of tensions. That could have something to do with the fact that going by the type of show we make here, right, we're a bit more enlightened to the actual situation and circumstances. The thing that the general public is scared of might not necessarily tally with the things that I'm concerned about. But there we go. That might add to the lack of stress that's here. And I think things might be different if I was your average normie, subject to the same fear porn everyone else was, or what's the word, susceptible to the same fear porn.
I did think about that. I was telling my wife that the other day. What about the people that don't get along? What about people that house rabid son that's on drugs, stuck in the house?
Yeah, precisely. You've got suddenly people in close quarters that may have been able or been more willing, because in many instances it's sort of self-inflicted. People don't have to necessarily be under each other's feet, even given the circumstances, but they are anyway because they're being told to be or advised to be. And, that's, like you say, if one of the members of the family is a black sheep, that could cause huge problems if they're suddenly in close quarters with somebody like that. But, like I say, this will only come to the surface when the new normal becomes the new normal.
You mean a family's staying indoors and they can't leave the one member of the family that's a flat earther? This is the problem now?
Well, no, Neil said like drug addict was his example. So, if you've got some sort of crackhead in the house and they're not doing their normal things, which might be robbing people blind to feed their crack habit, which might be a very good thing overall. But for that particular family, it's a pretty big nightmare, wouldn't you agree?
Well, then it's an underlying problem of something else that's been there a long time.
I don't dispute that.
Crack is whack.
Yeah, I don't dispute that, 10th man. I'm just saying that this is confounded by the circumstances.
What about the husband that's physically abusive to his wife?
What about him?
Well, again,
kiss and make up.
COVID has nothing to do with any of this. What happens is, if someone's abusive to their wife, that should have been dealt with at the first and second abuse stage. I mean, to now say.
Let's not get too deep into this. We've only got 5 minutes before the live show. I just don't want to get into a social economic debate about social welfare and all those things, which could easily tally onto this conversation if we give it juice.
All right, so I'll make it short. Some of them are getting along nice, enjoying their family. So
it's just give thanks, isn't it? If you're in a loving family, this is a time to give thanks for that, really, isn't it? That's all we're saying.
Nothing wrong with that.
I've got a different topic of discussion if we can discuss it in 4 minutes. Have you guys seen you guys in the UK seen that video from the two doctors or ER doctors that are talking about the coronavirus. Have you guys seen that video or heard about it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's been pulled every time it gets posted. It gets pulled back down, like on YouTube. Well, I found it on Vimeo, and then I went on it the other day, and it's gone from Vimeo too. So for some reason, that video is getting censored on multiple platforms. It's still on BitChute. I found it on BitChute this morning. But what do you think about that kind of censorship?
There's certain elements of what they're saying that I just absolutely disagree with. Anyway, so it's one of those. I see it as a big fat shit sandwich, and lots of people have taken a bite out of it. The fact that it's being overtly censored is almost comedic. But there we go. I don't know. Lots of people have bitten on it. I don't want to go through the issues I find with it because that could draw out another 10-minute, 20-minute conversation. But I take issue with a few of the subtle things that they drop into that little disclosure.
Yeah. I caught that subtle stuff too.
Oh, I know they discuss about the vaccines and stuff like that, and they're pushing for that. I mean, I get that aspect of it, but I mean, there might be other things that I miss. But I just think it's interesting that they're censoring because they're questioning them. Somewhat they're questioning the mainstream narrative. You know, what's being pushed from the government. That's the only reason I was bringing that up, and it's funny how they're censoring it. That's all.
Overtly censoring it, overtly to the point the public are noticing, which makes me think they want the public to notice.
You think?
I don't know why.
You think there's go ahead.
Sorry.
That's a good point.
When one of my normie family tells me about something like that, I go, "Oh yeah, so you know about this, do you? Okay."
I find that the most censorship happens when the numbers are questioned, when those official numbers are given and the official, the deaf analytics.
Yeah.
Though that's when it's usually censored pretty hard.
God damn you!
From what I've seen.
Set me off on 1 minute to go, and I really want to address that. Check out Thrice 8 Hermes video on authorities. You are the authority, the author of this narrative or of these statistics, then those are not maybe not hoax this, hoax that. No, they are the official numbers. You don't have to like them. Check it out. Thrice 8 Hermes. That's what. Just let me plug him again. Thrice 8 Hermes has got a video on the authorities, and he breaks down this to the point where you can understand that this is what I've been mentioning it a lot. In like, I am the authority on this. That idea that you can be in authority, and we're trying to pull apart where people have taken the fact that they're in authority and peppered it with a sprinkling of scientific validity. Put their authority, the stamp of authority, inside a corridor that has the word science above it, and therefore your speaking from authority is also added with the impression of empiricism, when it has nothing other than somebody saying something and it's only true because they've made it up themselves. But it doesn't change what the definition and the meaning behind it is in terms of authorship of material and its factual validity once it is authored. Once there is an authority above those numbers, they are the numbers. So they're going to say, no, we're perfectly entitled to say, no, you don't agree with the numbers. Well, they're the numbers. How dare you? And they'll be right in doing so. So you're probably not wrong in that, Chocolate. If you're questioning the authority of the numbers and their validity, it's like, well, you can't do that. That they are the numbers. They're the numbers. You don't have to like them. Now, maybe that won't make a lot of sense, but check out Thrice 8 Hermes video and it'll make a lot more sense. I haven't done anywhere near a good of a philosophical job of explaining how this works as Thrice 8 Hermes could do. But I'm going to start the live show, so.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now, we are joined by Righteous Force, Paul Hall, Chocolate Sane, 10th Man, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
From
Morning.
submission,
Morning.
or because
Hello.
there were several
Good morning.
exposures.
Good morning.
I do after. Oh, good morning. But I do. I won't interrupt housekeeping for this, but I think the topic from the after show does relate to Flat Earth on the issue of models. So once we go through housekeeping, if we've not gone into that too deep, I would like to circle back onto models.
Okay. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from my couch.
You,
Hey, son.
you mean what they used to call the geometric horizon? That?
They used to call it Earth curve. It was the geometric horizon, but they used to call it Earth curve.
Is that where all the boats used to go over?
Yeah, exactly. They used to go over Earth curve. In actuality, the geometric horizon that's been debunked by the Black Swan. Correct, Chocolate. Any
Now
sign-
they deny it?
Say again?
Making sure.
They deny it, yes. They now deny the very physicality that they claim they prove with its physicality in the geometric model. It's a beautiful situation. All hail Black Swan. Any signs of axial rotation?
Earth-based variety. No.
Any signs of an axis? We have an axis on a ball.
Well, they
That's
claim
tilted.
that axis equals the seasons, don't they? That's thoroughly evidence.
How would that work anyway?
Because it tilts closer to the sun when it's on one side, and then,
No, I mean, I know how they have it below at a store, that angle. That been up there in the vacuum.
Can you drop and rejoin, Neil? You're breaking up. Can you drop and rejoin, Neil?
Yes.
So
Alright.
rotation is seasons now.
In
that's
their
the only
model-
claim I've heard. Like,
No.
because of the tilt, we get seasons.
Well, I don't see Earth curve. I don't feel Earth rotation. So go ahead and make up some more stories, I guess.
Axial rotation isn't necessarily linked to the seasons. You know, the tilt, what is it, 66.6 degrees off horizontal that they have the Earth tilting towards the sun. It's also got a weird orbit that puts you in these sort of contradictory positions where certain places are actually further away from the sun during their summer. It doesn't make
Yeah, the northern hemisphere is actually 3 million miles supposedly closer to the sun during the winter.
exactly.
How the hell does that work?
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, they've got plenty of double-speak nonsense to go along with it to explain it away.
Double speak. You talking about 1984?
Hey there, Mind Warped. Shout out to Trey
Hey
Clark
mate, how are
Theories.
you?
Very well. Shout out to Trey Clark Theories for the super chat. Really appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Doesn't say anything.
It's all good, man. I just wanted you to massive super chat for Aaron. Bloody Google bastards taking so much of it.
Say that again.
Well, I gave him like a $250 super chat, and the bloody bastards take most of it.
No. You got it wrong. Google takes 30%.
But
Because my
30%
setup,
is up.
Yeah.
Can we
Okay.
leave this admin till after housekeeping? No offense.
Sorry. Okay. Yep. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Fun though it is to discuss the
Excuse-moi.
profitability of YouTubing and all that good stuff. Smash the super chat, by the way.
Sorry.
It's okay. That's all good. Any evidence of the distance to the sun? We're gonna need to know what it is and where it is for us to be figuring out what the seasons are, given that they seem to be dictated by the proximity.
You're talking about the distance to the sun.
Well, the proximity of the sun seems to dictate the seasons.
How the fuck?
When it's winter.
Can I swear, Nathan? Can I swear?
To the distance of the sun, the thing is sticks and shadows. So some dude did it 1,000 years ago or something. No advanced technology to show it these days.
Who's playing a video in the background?
I think that's a guy talking. I don't think that's a video.
Okay.
Hey,
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I don't know who explain that.
Probably
so
you.
distance to the sun is only sticks and shadows. That's what I've heard. No advanced technology.
You'd need R for that.
So,
Take over, Mind Warped. You carry on, mate.
no, mate, you go.
Really? Thanks for that.
I'm so sorry. Go on.
Don't tell him, just stop.
Sticks and shadows needs the presupposition of the R value, though, doesn't it?
True that.
Yes.
So, any evidence of the R value? Earth radius?
No.
Black Swan.
No. So we try and measure
Oh
it.
my god! Why does everyone bring up the bloody Black Swan? It pisses me off. I've got to admit, even to Nathan.
Why does
sorry,
it piss
man.
you off?
Dude,
Well,
what?
because the Black Swan was never a thing. Because, like, okay, where I live, I'm in Perth, right, in Western Australia, and our bloody animal of the is the Black Swan, and it never used to be a thing. It was an economic thing where people would say, like, okay, if you can't plan for something, it's a Black Swan, right? And now it's just the name game. And
Well,
it's
I
being
think
played
it's
around
regional
so
bound.
much.
Mind warped. I think it's a regional thing. Then I think because you have so many black swans over there, you know.
Well, maybe.
No, hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish, please. Because you live in a completely different region in the world where a lot of black swans are. Yeah, of course, that saying is not going to mean anything. Can I finish, please? That saying is not going to mean anything. But the black swan argument is historical. It's about Europe region a long time ago. So that's not the same.
It does
setup.
mean something here, though, Aaron.
Yeah,
like,
but it means something else here. So I'm sorry it doesn't work out for you like that. But we're going to go with the meaning from Europe, if you don't mind.
That's okay. I understand.
What
like,
I'm trying to understand
and...
is when you say, I mean, you're a flat earther, right?
Yeah, of course. Man,
right. So when we say Black Swan,
Dude,
it's
guys,
literally
it's
the death.
What the hell?
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. But your reaction to just hearing Black Swan is a little weird because that's literally the
because I've been away for
destruction
like 6
of their
months.
model. And then you came back to nothing but black swans, but you came back to the death of their model with them conceding that they have no geometric horizon. That's why this is a beautiful thing.
Okay, so can you let me explain where I'm coming from?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. So where I'm coming from is like where the only time I've heard the Black Swan event was when it was tied to a financial thing. So, like, say, a financial analyst or something like that is like a Black Swan event was like, okay, say they didn't know that the gold was going to go and crash or burn or something like that, or silver or something like that. It's a Black Swan event. I've never heard it tied to the globe or flat Earth, and I've been gone for 6 months, as you guys know. And I've just come back. And now I'm hearing the Black Swan event spread left, right, and center. And I'm not sure
and
what
that's-
it's in relation to. So I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to play games. I literally do not know what it's tied to.
Sure. So when you've heard it in reference to financial events, are you aware of the Karl Popper analogy in the first instance?
No, I'm not.
Okay. The way the Karl Popper analogy actually works, regardless of who utilises it, in your instance, it's financial events. It's to say that there is an assertion that all swans are white, and that would be the common understanding, only disproven by one black swan. Now, it's an unanticipated or an event that you can't anticipate when you're under the belief that all swans are white, until that unforeseen event where someone puts a black swan in front of you and disproves your notion that all swans are white, and you only require one to disprove the notion that all swans are white. So it's an unexpected event that...
I don't mean to butt in, but that thing for me is very weird, because where I am in Perth, Western Australia, our national emblem or national animal is a black swan.
Sure, it
That's
doesn't
why
change.
that's why he used it. Let me read it. This is coming from a statement about Karl Popper. He says, a scientific idea can never be proven true because no matter how many observations seem to agree with it, it may still be wrong. He used a simple example of swans to illustrate his point. For many years, people believed all swans were white. Millions of observations of white swans seemingly proved the theory that, in fact, all swans were white. Yet it was the discovery of a single black swan living in
Perth?
Australia, which
Perth,
invalidated.
Okay, let
Do you
him
mind
finish.
not cutting in?
Okay, I'll
Sorry, I've got to
finish, please.
Hold on,
Dude.
mind warped. Since you've joined, you've done nothing but interrupt absolutely everybody at absolutely every single point. We've not got through the housekeeping.
Shut up.
Are you doing it now? You're interrupting me, telling you please stop interrupting everybody continually, please.
Yet it was the discovery of a single black swan living in Australia, which invalidated a theory based on millions of prior observations. I'll post it in Masterby.
Yeah.
I like that story.
Can I speak now? Is that okay? So basically, in the Swan River where I am born, there's black swans everywhere. So the black swan event, I find, just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway.
But does it make sense now? It's been explained that it's just an analogy.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything to me.
Yeah, but it doesn't
I'm an Aussie and I get it.
It doesn't have to be swans. It's just an analogy.
Yeah, I get that it doesn't mean that it's a black swan. Like, I get that.
Okay.
Like,
let me try with a slightly varied version. If I assert that all trees are brown, and every tree I ever see ever is brown, then someone shows me a silver birch, which kind of looks white, I go, oh, right.
Then I'd say you were colorblind.
So the assumption is that all trees are brown, and it only takes one tree not being brown to disprove the notion that all trees are brown. It doesn't have to be swans. It doesn't matter what the analogy is using.
I do should lead us into the black swan.
So mine works. Just to try to get you back on track with this, right? So if your analogy is all horizons are geometric, you have to show just one that's not geometric.
I do understand that. Like, I've been away for like 6 months.
It kind of sounds like you don't, though. That's what I'm trying to.
No,
because you're still saying I don't get what the.
No, I do get it, but like, you've got to understand where I'm coming from, right?
I do. I heard you.
I've been gone.
You've
for
got
like,
black swans all over the place.
Months, right?
I get it.
I've been part of the debates for 2 years. I've been gone for 6 months.
Oh my god.
Thing is, I come back and I start hearing the black swan event, and for me, the black swan was like a economic thing. But for me, the black swan was always like a national.
You're just repeating yourself. Hello, live show running. Hello. Yes, we heard the first time. Economic event. And lots of black swans around you. We've explained it. We've given you the analogy. We've changed the analogy. So it's got sod all to do with swans. We've also pointed out that it's just utilised by the economic sector as the Karl Popper analogy is useful for them when they have an unexpected financial event. For us, it's an unexpected globe debunking event. It's just an analogy.
Okay. I do
So that
understand. Sorry,
should come to
Nathan.
the
I do
housekeeping
understand that.
question.
I did actually understand that, and I
geometry.
was trying to get to that.
So what's the point in all this then? That there's lots of black
No, I
swans
don't
around
know.
you?
I was trying to get to that. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, there's lots of black swans
trying
around
to
you.
make any. I was trying to make an informative point that not a lot of people actually realize that the black swan is a native thing to Perth. But we'll move on. That's
Sure,
okay.
but some people are aware of the black swan as it actually is an analogy given by a particular individual, Karl Popper, and it was just read out to you that the detailed description of the explanation of the analogy that is the black swan even references Australia.
Yeah, I know what a black swan is, Nathan.
Oh, you keep saying that and interrupting me to tell me that you know. It's getting really irritating because we've spent about 10 minutes on it.
Okay, sorry, I won't talk about it anymore.
Any evidence of molten iron core?
No.
No. Unless you can drill more than 12 kilometers down.
Correct.
Hey man, and they got that wrong with seismic.
The doors of hell, my friends.
Any scientific evidence of gravity? Gravity? Scientific evidence thereof? Anybody?
Of gravity.
Only the pseudoscience.
My pants fell down. Does that matter?
Say that again?
My pants fell down. It was a joke.
Because they're more dense than the air surrounding
when you said
it.
pants,
Exactly.
my
I took them
hesitation
out of their area of density and they fell down.
Sure, my hesitation was because we had another guest that used pants when talking about reference frames, and that was just where my brain went for a second.
Let's not go there with the pants.
Oh my goodness. I'm only joking. You know, pants used to be a swear word in England back in the day.
Pants? Just short
Pants
for
used to be a swear word back in the day. Yeah, I'm not joking.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that pants used to be a swear word back in the day.
We used to say pants as in meaning something's rubbish. Oh, that's a load of pants, as in rubbish.
Honestly, Nathan, you can say a bloody pants, and it would be like, you bloody pants. I won't say it, but yeah. But pants used to be a swear word. Have a look. Go on.
Okay. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields?
Knowledge.
My bad. Carry on. Let's talk about pants for the next 10 minutes.
You really need to learn to put a cork in it, man. I'm serious.
I'm so sorry, but like I'm running off.
You're doing it again. Why don't you let people finish their sentences?
Because I've got a delay. I'm so sorry. Like, okay,
I'm cork in it, please. You gotta learn to do this. You're communicating,
dude. I'm so sorry. Can I?
Then don't say you're sorry. Just do it. Don't apologize. Just do it.
No.
Count to three. No. Do it.
You've got me
don't
wrong.
Apologize. Don't talk.
Nathan, can I?
Go ahead, whoever it was in Discord.
I just said count to three. We know there's a delay. Count to three. Hear nobody? Then frustrated.
Let's see if we can rattle our way through housekeeping. We'll any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No.
They just observe and.
Sorry.
Well, isn't this going swimmingly?
They can't do the scientific
What's going
method.
on here
just,
today?
all they can do is observe.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to like.
Oh, God, try again, whoever that was in Discord.
Yeah, all they can do is observe and declare. They can't physically test anything or, the distances.
Right on. Shout out to Slick James Johnson.
Hello, Nathan. How's the show going?
Very well, Chemo Bender. How are you?
Not too bad.
What?
Got one more. We've just got one more question. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container?
Not according to Blue Balls.
Adam, hello. Save me.
I was just going to say, is this special invite or can anyone join this clusterfuck?
And mind your language. Actually, how long have we been going? No, we're long past the intro.
I'm very sorry. Can I just say sorry?
Guys.
Hello. Did Robert like
I'm so sorry, mate. I've got a really bad delay.
You're sorry and do something about it. Please.
Stop.
Well, I can't, mate.
No, you can. You can drop. You can drop right now.
Why would I? I love the show.
Because you're disrupting the show now. It's not funny anymore. Okay.
Did Robert like his intro, Adam?
Yes, I really like you're getting very good at chopping up my work, Nathan. You've got a skill at it that making me smile. Yeah, it's got an innie and an outie now.
It's one of those that I only do the editing on your videos because you take a lot of time and effort to make them, and they look really nice. Now, for me to hack them up is mere minutes and very easy, and it doesn't in any way reflect the level of work that's gone into the original material that I've hacked up. It's an outrage, really, because you do all the work. So much hacking up.
We're getting quite a good team, Nathan. You do have a point in they're much too long, my words, but you do then summarise them very well. So, I think it's quite good, mate.
It's one of those.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased with Robert's though. Quite chuffed with that.
I saw it, and it gave me the music was excellent. It gave me goosebumps, and it told a story. It was a proper little story in that intro, which, the Ballbusters one's great, and various other intros that you've done are great, but that one had a proper little story. I had a mental image of what was going on. I was like, I was a little secret agent chasing down Robert Pisano. It was really cool.
It was his insistence on the music. I think it's from one of his favourites from a movie. So that was the hardest bit, working with that, because it goes on for 13 minutes, that song. And I thought, I'm not filling for that long. Nathan will kill me if I put. But he got a copyright strike straight away as it went up. So.
Did it? Oh, well then he should use mine, because I don't believe mine did. Yeah. I'll have to double check that, but I don't think mine did.
No, I didn't see that yours had. It looks cool. So yeah, I think it's short enough to get through it, and whereas a minute and a half of that is too much. So he's probably better off using.
Oh, absolutely, because otherwise every single video he ever publishes will never ever make him any money if he intends to. Shout out to Paul Connell for the super chat. Paul from Perth says, "Sorry, Nathan." Why? Why is he sorry? I don't understand, Paul. You'll have to explain that. You have to super chat again. Oh, feel free.
Did he say he's from Perth?
From Perth. What time is it there? Mind warped. It's got to be pretty late for you, right?
Sorry, yeah. I just had to dip away for a sec.
What time is it there?
It is 9:35.
9:35 p.m.
Yep.
Oh, it's not as late as I thought then.
Okay.
It's on the west. On the east side, it's 11:30.
I can do, yeah.
No,
so
wait.
Mind warps. Mind warps
about it's Eastern States. Who's this Eastern States bastard? Sorry, didn't mean to swear.
Yep.
Mind warps
really
actually
bad
joined for a
internet.
reason, as he's got a video. Although I can't. Here we go. I found it. If I stick it up, do you want to talk us through it?
Yeah, sure. But I've just got to say prior that my internet connection is really bad. Yeah, if you want to play it, I'm more than happy to talk people through it.
Okay, I'll just mute the sound, so it's running now.
I can just see you with your golden...
Playing for the audience.
Really? I can't see anything, sorry.
It's playing for the audience.
Okay, so what you're
Went out
saying
and made
is
a second.
so basically what happened is I did an observation from Burns Beach to Rottnest Island, and a lot of the global earthers were saying, can you please give me the temperature, and can you please give me the ocean temperature? And I was like, well, I can't do that because this was done like 6-7 months ago. So what I did, I went out and did this today through QE. John wasn't there, but there was a few other globe earthers that were there. They were talking to me while I was doing this, so there's a few guys there that can actually validate the fact that I did this today. And I went out of my way and I did this for you guys, so you can see the ships. Can I see this, Nathan, while you're playing it? Or
You're on. You're roughly on right with timing. It's just zooming in and out on the first big ship.
Okay, maybe if you can talk me through what I'm seeing. I can't see it. So basically, there's a few. What we've got is we've got Fremantle Port, and going from there, you've got your gas, you've got your big tankers and stuff like that go in there, and then you've got Rottnest Island, and you've got a lighthouse, you've got a wind, not like a windmill, but bloody a wind silo, and it just makes power for the whole island. These things are 37 to 38 kilometers away from where I am. I shouldn't see this stuff. Okay, so the coordinates that I've put on the video, there's a set of steps. All right, so there's a viewing platform, and then it goes down probably about 8 steps, then goes down again to a viewing platform that's about 3 meters above sea level. All right, so there's the 3 meter viewing platform, and then I've got my tripod set up, and I'm giving you a good. I've given you 5 meters, so I'm being generous. So you got the 3 meter step up, and then I've got my tripod with the P900 zooming in on all of this stuff. And see that building there? Okay, so this is cool. I've never seen you do this, Nathan. So you've got the yacht, and okay, this is good. So see how you can you see that, Nathan?
You have to tell me what I'm supposed to be seeing.
Okay, you just missed it, but that's all right. It'll come back again. See that? What's going on there?
So it said it was the Maritime Museum.
Yeah. And then you've got a yacht going in between us. And you see me zooming right out. Now, can you see that ship? That's a gas tanker. That's going into Fremantle as well. Oh, sorry, that's going down to Cronulla. Okay. Can't see anything. Now let me zoom in again. What the heck's going on there? These ships are like at least 20 kilometers away. And when they come across, see, when I actually filmed this, I thought that when I originally filmed this, I was 8 meters above sea level. I didn't think I was going to be able to see this. See this here? Can you pause that? You missed it. I didn't think I was going to be able to see that from where I was. That there, I originally saw from 8 meters above sea level. I was lower down. I was on that second level on the viewing platform. I should not be able to see that. That's 37 kilometers away from where I am. Nathan, if you want to share the video, it's got it all in the descriptions of and all the coordinates. I should not be able to see that. I shouldn't. It's just a fact. I should not be able to see that. Sorry, just knocked the mic.
Is there anything else to the video you need me to play? Will I play the rest of it?
Maybe. Yeah, can you show the wind? If you keep playing it just a tad more. You just missed it, but it'll come back if you keep playing it and come back. See the turbine. Keep going. Hey guys, bear in mind this is 37 kilometers away. The building that we saw before was 40 kilometers away. There we go, right there. Okay, so that windmill that you originally saw, okay, the lighthouse. When they build lighthouses, they build them on the highest point of an island, okay? The highest point on the island is 30 meters. This is not on the highest point. This is on like near the shore. I've been to Rottnest that many times for school excursions. This is right down the bottom. Okay? Why can I see that? Why can I see that from 37 kilometers away? I should not be able to see that. Keep playing.
You mean in their model, you shouldn't be able
No,
to see that.
exactly.
You just see it because it's there.
Yeah. Well, I went out of my way anyway, but whatever. It's all good. I'm gonna get like picked to pieces for it, but like, you know, Globers are gonna say like this, that, and the other, but the thing is, you shouldn't be able to see that from 37 kilometers away. Am I wrong, Nathan?
Well, yeah, you've already been picked up on it in the phraseology. I know what you're trying to say, but yeah, you should be able to see it. You see it because it's there. You can see it. It is there. You do see it. The assertion that you shouldn't be able to see it is the presupposition that there should be a sphere in the Earth, a sphere Earth in the way. No, number one, we don't see a geometric horizon. That's the Black Swan argument. We've debunked that physical geometric edge with the Black Swan. And two, why would you assume that you shouldn't see it because a model says you shouldn't see it?
Well, exactly. What someone was saying to me today was like, you will constantly see 8 inches per square mile of a dip. That doesn't make sense. The further you go out, doesn't that change? It changes, right? It's not constantly 8 inches per square mile. Am I wrong?
It's not that you're wrong.
Well,
Go ahead, Chocolate.
No, I was going to say, well, that's supposed to be the dip of their curvature, right? That's their curvature measurement, 8 inches per mile
But
squared.
it differs when
Yeah,
you
but we
go
don't.
out, Chocolate.
What do you mean?
It gets further down when you go out. Isn't that right?
Yeah, well, that's why that function is squared, because it's supposed to be a cumulative curve that's supposed to continue downwards and back around.
Exactly.
That's why they square the function, but we don't see any of that.
Exactly.
So,
like times that by 37 kilometers. Like, what the heck? Like, I shouldn't see this stuff. I should not see this stuff. Especially that building. Carry on with the show, but whatever. Like, but I shouldn't see this stuff.
Let me run it through the Earth curve. What height? What was your
5 meters, and I'm being generous.
Sorry, why are we doing this? Why are we running it through the Earth curve calculator? Why are we
The
assuming
Earth
what we
curve
shouldn't see?
calculator is bonk anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, why are we assuming what we should or shouldn't see based on what the Earth curve calculator tells us when it's been debunked? They don't have an R value. It's completely untenable as a model. Why would I ever even go near it? That's my question.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I've got Globers saying, well, like it's 8 inches per square mile. Like it doesn't work like that. The further you go out, that doesn't make sense. The further you go out, it changes.
well, unless you got some way to demarcate the horizon distance, and then you can see if it's a black swan or not. Because I'm pretty sure it probably is. But I haven't been looking at it. But yeah,
I don't mean to hijack. You guys think of it what you will, but you know, I just think that it's a load of BS. The whole globe model. Oh, try not to swear.
Yeah, don't swear.
Yeah. Oh, I won't.
I just
But
run
you
it
know
through
what
the
I mean. I went
calculator,
out of my way
just to
and
get some
I filmed this,
idea.
and what I did is like I gave everyone the position of where I was, and I gave the positions of where everything out in the horizon was, and the temperatures of the ocean and the temperature of the air were the same. So there's like looming and 22 degrees, all right, was the ocean temperature, and 22 degrees was the air temperature. So figure.
Thank you very much for presenting it.
I'm sorry, but yeah, okay, thank you.
No way, sorry. Thank you very much for presenting it.
I love you, Nathan. You're a good bloke.
Just I know you probably don't like the Earth curve calculator, but it says there should be a 50-meter drop at 36 kilometers, and I don't know, just to get a reference, or just to add.
Based on the height above sea level, running it through the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator, there should be a drop that's unaccounted for of 50 meters. That's fascinating, but as I say, we've completely debunked this model. There is no necessity to run anything and assume how much we should or shouldn't see based on this R value that's been debunked. So fascinating, but thank you for doing it anyway, and thank you for presenting it in the first instance, Mimewalk. Really appreciate it.
It's so good, mate. Like literally the only reason I did it is because I did it in the first place, and people were asking me questions like, what was the air temp? What was the bloody ocean temp? And I literally couldn't give them those answers. So I went out there and did it today so that people can go back and, think of it what they will and assess it as they will. So, yeah, that's why I did it.
And they're just going to find you more questions to ask you. And keep saying that it doesn't work. Right?
To me, it doesn't matter, mate. Like, I've got all this stuff. I can go and do it more and more. And I'll just punch one in the face.
Just a couple of shout outs. Sorry, just bear with me one sec. So shout out to Good Servant for the super chat. Just gives me money. Thank you very much, Good Servant. Really appreciate the support. Also, Godzilla37 says, just found out people from Perth say sorry more than your average Canadian. Who knew? Sorry. Thanks for the super chat, Godzilla.
What are they saying about Perth?
He said the people from Perth say sorry more often than people from Canada. Who knew? And then he says sorry.
I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, that's kind of true.
I'm assuming it's a he. Could be a she. Godzilla37 anyway. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Well, Canadians and Perthians, I suppose, we kind of consider ourselves brothers and sisters. It's a thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
A boot? Okay, brother.
Oh, man.
I love you.
Great show, Nathan.
So,
Thanks, Chemo Bender.
Where's 10th?
10th, he's here, I think.
Why is he so quiet?
What do people from England say? They say, mate.
Mate?
Why do people from England say mate? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, people from England, do they say?
Well, can I give you a
very... Nathan, this is what the show's come to since I've been away. Talking about what people say in different countries to greet each other.
No, we were discussing the Black Swan a moment ago. The distance to the horizon measurement being no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, debunking the R value assumption in the heliocentric model. That's what we were just talking about. Do you have selective hearing, Alan?
Sorry about that.
Did you have selective hearing, Alan? Did you miss the bit where we discussed us debunking the heliocentric, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator by way of this piece of evidence used an analogy by a chap called Karl Popper, the Black Swan? Did you not listen to any of that? Did you think we only discussed how people talk natively? Selective hearing was my question.
Pardon?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, we discussed how we destroyed the assumption, I presume you still hold, that the Earth's sphere, that's completely dead now. You've been away for a while. Let me be the first to tell you, Al. The globe Earth model's now untenable. You can't assume the R value. You can never acquire the R value. The R value's been debunked, and your own side are now telling us with a horizon hand wave that we do not see a geometric horizon. The one formerly blocking the Isle of Man in all those debates you were party to. Remember that? When you used to say the geometric horizon was blocking stuff? Now your own side are telling us we never see it, mate. Or perhaps we should highlight the fact that we talk about how people talk natively as a distraction from the fact we've destroyed your religion.
We can stop you not calling me mate.
That's right, mate. We've demolished your religion, mate. Sphere Earth, debunked entirely, totally untenable now. Never to be assumed in a calculator again. We debunked R. How about that?
Can I add on to that, Nathan?
You can shut up while I'm talking. That's what you can do. Maybe shut up while I'm talking. Maybe shut up while I'm talking, because you've just rumpused the G Plus panel for the entire time I just spoke to Alan, didn't you?
Sorry.
Just shut up. I'm not going to tell you again. So, Alan, your laughter, nice segue. You haven't addressed a single word I've said. Like a typical globehead religious zealot, you've ignored literally every word I've just put to you. Every single word. None of it's been addressed yet.
And they scream out refraction, and they point to the one photo, but there's hundreds of photos now.
You're talking from Armadale, mate. Fucking hell, mate. You dull bludger.
Alan, that's pretty similar to the way we laugh after we're told that we don't see a geometric horizon. As a matter of fact, it's the horizon we don't expect to see. That's how we sound when we're laughing at that, because that's the thing you guys used to call the curve, remember? Remember that back in the day? You used to say curve of the earth, right?
You guys
well,
are like
been debunked. My words.
Oh, what a shock.
Words.
I'm hearing I'm hearing Mind Warp talk through you, Chocolate. What a shocker.
Yeah. So
why are you bagging me out?
Because you're talking through every single word everybody says.
I'm
for the whole show.
Okay.
The only person so far that's had clear air is you. You're talking through me, mate. You're really winding me up. Shut up.
I'm tethering.
Sake. Driving me nuts, this guy. Close down the entire G Plus hangout just because one guy can't shut his mouth.
Have you been keeping anyway?
Very well. I'd like an address to your late coming to this party. You're one of the people that used to assert Earth curve got in the way of the Isle of Man, blocking certain proportions of it that you qualified in feet and inches as a hidden value. That would be the physical geometric sphere edge horizon that's now being dismissed with a hand wave by your own side. In other words, we're witnessing the implosion of a now untenable model formerly known as the heliocentric sphere Earth model. Are you going to address any of that? Is this news to you? You're shocked? Your model's dead. You can't beg the question of a sphere anymore. It's completely untenable, Alan. Can I get a reaction to that, please?
I've been away.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
All they say is we have pictures from space. That's it.
Oh my fucking god. Pieces from space, you bloody idiot. Sorry, Nathan.
I think the point that Alan departed was just as we were debunking space. That was when he went on his Todd last.
Can I just really do one linguistic thing?
What, be the only other person that replies to anybody ever? Go ahead.
Okay. Right. If I'm going to be in this space, thank you. But, okay, you've got to look at this.
I'm talking to Alan. Are you insane? Is all subtlety lost on you?
He's not answering.
Is all subtlety lost on you? I'm in the conversation with somebody I'm trying to get a reply from. I say, oh yeah, you be the response to every question ever. Subtle, mate. No, it's clearly all lost on you. Alan, I'll try for a fifth time. What's your reaction? Your model, the sphere model you were here begging the question of a couple of years back with the Isle of Man, remember? Let's try step by step with you. Do you remember telling us a sphere edge was getting in the way, mate?
wasn't the Isle of Man, it was Ireland.
Do you remember
when you got it wrong? When you got it wrong, you had some humble pie. Humble pie!
That's fascinating. So, yeah, we got part of that wrong when we were begging the question of models that are now untenable. So, part of the Isle of Man was obscured. Qualified in feet and inches by begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective, hijacking, curve calculator, Alan. There was an assertion that the sphere edge, Earth curve, was getting in the way, mate. I'm trying to lead you by the hand to a concession about something you argued about for about a year solid. Can't remember? Vague? No? Can't remember? Earth curve getting in the way?
I remember episodes 1 to 76, the good old days.
But you don't remember being on the panel while it was argued about the hidden value of how much the sphere edge, now debunked by the Black Swan, we're nowhere near that, because for some reason you don't even want to concede that you used to claim Earth curve was getting in the way and telling us how much was hidden by way of the physical blockage of the Earth curve edge, now debunked. But obviously we can't even get a concession that you used to say that.
What's the Black Swan?
It's the debunking of the heliocentric religion. It's used in analogy by Karl Popper because it was asserted by you, personally, that all horizons were the edges of spheres, presumed by way of an R value now debunked. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to the horizon must measure no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And we have this image with demarcation points by way of these oil platforms marking the horizon way beyond 10 miles from an observer height of about 6 feet. So where it should be 1.2, 1.3-ish miles, it's way beyond 10. Therefore not a geometric horizon. Therefore debunking R and leaving you with no sphere model to beg the question of. Because, according to your own side in rebuttal, we do not see the geometric horizon you, Alan, used to claim blocked the bottom of the Isle of Man. You understand?
Is it a picture or something?
The horizon.
Put the picture up.
I just posted it for you, Alan.
Thank you.
You see it?
Anyway, you don't need to see the picture. There's plenty of Black Swan images.
Alan B, how many horizons do we have?
Chocolate, just shh.
Nah, you're not going to tell me to shh.
Well, why are you telling me to shush when I was just trying to do like a
Because, dude, you've been talking for the past 45 minutes.
No, I haven't.
Nothing.
Nathan has.
Holy shit.
Dude,
I like you, but
man.
right now, today, you're a little weird.
Man, you're like a
You're
brother,
little
man.
weird
But like,
today,
hang
man.
on, I haven't even said anything. I literally haven't said anything.
No, you haven't, but you've not stopped talking.
Exactly.
Adam, come on, man. Seriously.
Dude, seriously, lots of people are trying to be polite to give you a heads up that you're being a bit of a doofus.
Yeah, and
stop it.
I'm shutting
Just
up.
leave it
I'm
now.
shutting up. I'm shutting up.
That's the problem. You're saying you're shutting up, but then you're still talking as you're saying that.
Yeah, because I'm trying
Just
to find this
mute
space to
and
actually
relax
come in,
so that
but I
we
don't
can
know
have
when
a
I can come in because
conversation
I've got a delay.
with the guy that
So
used
if
to
you got
think that there was curve. We're trying to get to that, bro.
Chocolate. When there's a bit of a, can you let me know because I've got a delay when I can come in and then
Yeah, I'll let you know. Can you pop yourself on mute until then, please, Mind Warped? Hold on, Chocolate. Hold on, Chocolate. Hold on, Chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, Mind Warped. Can you please pop yourself on mute? Don't talk through me while I'm asking you to do so. Like everyone else here, everyone else on the panel's on mute at the moment. Can you just do that while Chocolate asks his question again? Thanks.
Alan B, you there?
Hi, Choco.
What's up, buddy? How you doing? How you been? I just have a question because there seems to be confusion with some of you guys. So I'm just curious. Is your well? How many horizons do we have?
How many?
Say that again.
Are you asking me how many horizons?
Yes, sir. Hello?
He's thinking about it. It's a difficult question.
Feels like a gotcha.
No, absolutely not. Just a simple question. I mean, how many horizons are there when you look out and you see the horizon? How many horizons are there? I even left a clue in the question.
There's a clue in the question?
Alan B, when you go out to a beach and you look at the horizon, how many do you usually see? All right. Well,
Good old. That silence is
weird, right? These are.
It's a
That's a
troubling
pretty
question.
simple question I just asked, right?
Very. It should be easy. There's one on screen now. There we go. Giving away the answer. Whoops.
Oh, Alan, Mr. I want to laugh real loud. You still there?
For a flat earther, this would be it's amazing how, for a flat earther, how many horizons are there would be a really easy answer. But for somebody with a globe head belief, it seemed to draw lots of silence.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be this much silence. I mean,
It's
I thought it
amazing,
was
isn't
pretty
it?
simple. I got other questions I got to get to, but still trying to get past this first one.
I didn't get past my first question either. I asked him if he remembered asserting that the geometric sphere edge horizon in their Earth curve model was getting in the way of the Isle of Man. That drew silence as well.
No, it didn't.
Oh, you do remember that the physical geometric sphere edge horizon was blocking the Isle of Man with a quantifiable amount hidden. You do remember that? Yes, Nathan! I do! I do remember! Don't hear an answer from you, Alan. I didn't hear a yes. I had to mimic you because you asserted like you'd answered, but you didn't, did you?
I did.
You did see the geometric horizon. Oh, thank you. That's excellent. So you did see a physical geometric horizon blocking the bottom of the Isle of Man, did you? No, Alan. It's funny you should say you did see that physical geometric horizon because currently the rhetoric's telling us that we don't see that. I wonder why you would assert that we saw a physical geometric sphere edge horizon blocking the bottom of the Isle of Man, given we don't ever see such a thing. Why would you assert such nonsense, you double-speaking fundy retard? Don't laugh at me. You've come here and told my audience that a physical geometric sphere edge horizon was blocking the bottom of the Isle of Man, and I want to know why you've asserted such horseshit religious rhetoric. Religion of a sphere being asserted by you, a moron. Why have you done that? We're being told by your cohorts, currently, and mind warp's got to talk. We're being told by your cohorts that we don't see that horizon you said got in the way of the Isle of Man, and I want to know why you've lied to us about it and laughed back then about Ireland and things. You're never coming back.
When can I talk and demolish?
You're never coming back. Do you hear me? You're never coming back. Alan, why would you assert that?
Was it apparent?
apparent. You used to claim it blocked the bloody bottom of the Isle of Man. You can't get much more apparent than blocking something quantifiable with feet and inches hidden values, mate. Yeah, you used to say it was apparently blocking stuff and physically doing so based on mathematics of physical horizons. Do you not remember? Have you had amnesia in the last 3 minutes?
No. Why are you so angry?
Because you came here and told us about a physical geometric sphere edge horizon blocking the bottom of the Isle of Man, and we're currently being told by your own side, I know you've been away, that, quote, we do not see the geometric horizon. So we've got a glaring contradiction with a load of assholes who came here for a very long period of time telling us that we do see it blocking the bottom of the Isle of Man. I'm asking you why you tell us we saw it blocking stuff when we do not see it, according to people who are sat next to you on the panel now. Do you understand, or are you slow?
I don't remember the Isle of Man picture. Did we see the beach?
That's the point. Your question, did we see the beach, was an affirmative claim that it was being blocked by a physical horizon, you moron. What aren't you getting? It's being denied with a hand wave. The very thing you claim blocked the beach. Is this coming slowly to you? Cogs turning very slowly today? Hello? Why did you tell us a physical sphere edge horizon was blocking the beach?
Kissing giggles.
Retard.
Why did you lie to us about physical geometric sphere edges that aren't existing and can't be seen? You don't understand? I'm berating you for your nonsense that we had to endure over the Isle of Man, with you sniggering and giggling about how much the beach was missing, based on how much physical sphere edge horizon got in the way. You babbling moron. I want to know why you've wasted our time.
What do you say, mind warped?
You seem to be having a bit of a quibble in your voice. Was Mind Warped here to help you? Distract from this. Yes. Why did you tell us a physical sphere edge was getting in the way of stuff?
Because it does.
No, it doesn't, you unbelievable moron. We do not see the geometric horizon. There's 50 on the panel. That's a quote from him. You need to tell 50 that when he asserts we do not see a geometric horizon, that he's as retarded as you are, that you seem to have glaring contradictions in your fundamentalist religious assertions between telling us it does block things, we can see it, and we do not see it, we never see it, we wouldn't expect to see it. There's glaring contradictions on your own side, Alan, and you're one of the people holding them. You're telling us that we shouldn't see a beach. What, because a physical sphere edge got in the way? No, moron! That's why I'm berating you, you idiot.
So angry.
Yeah, I hate having my time wasted with people asserting that a physical model of a sphere with an assumption of an R value now debunked by us who have the tenacity to point out where we're facing religious rhetoric from people like you when they assert physical sphere edge horizons, which we absolutely do not have by admission of your own side. When it comes to me pointing out that you've wasted huge chunks of our time with your religious belief and rhetoric, you just tell me I'm angry. No, I'm fuming, you bloody religious fundy, wasting our time with your sphere nonsense and your assertions of your models you've reified, telling us that the beach is blocked by a physical horizon that apparently we don't see. Yeah, it's a nonsense that you've wasted our time with. I'm entitled to be angry with you. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making this live show possible. If you are watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, however, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Again, a massive thank you to today's live audience for smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
It wasn't anything but to try and put him in his place, like, honestly.
Yeah, but you gotta give people a shot when they're talking. You don't
The guy
talk
was
and you wait for
fucking
them.
asshole, bro.
Yeah, but Nathan was talking to. How are you going to talk to him while Nathan's talking to him? You know how that doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, I know, but okay,
All right.
I get that I've been
Ron
gone
Warp,
for a
can I say
while
something
and
real
the
quick?
things have changed. Okay, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Ron Warp,
Like
I
I've been,
didn't hear
like
anything.
you
I didn't hear
guys know
anything
that
you've
I've
not
been here
said.
for probably about 2 years. Thing is, like these
You're
people are fucking
still doing it.
retards.
You're still doing it.
And I was trying to say
Man,
something, Ron
look,
Warp. You have not. I've not
yeah,
heard anything that's been going on because of you. Because of you, I've not heard anything.
me.
Yes, because of
Like,
you, I've not heard
honestly,
anything that's
bro.
been
Like
going on.
honestly, oh my god. Yo.
Why are you being a troll?
Oh, thank God. What was with that guy?
Hey, Nathan, I've got like a 5-minute little presentation. I don't know if I can show it or screen.
By all means. How do you want to show it? What is it?
Just like a bunch of photos, like long distance photos, horizon photos, just
Sure.
all sorts of just
Can you
little
post them
snippets
in
of stuff.
Can you post them in the Discord stream, and hopefully someone on the G Plus panel is willing to present them?
All right, I just whacked it all together in like a little video.
Somebody in G Plus who's willing to go into Discord and dig out this information for me.
I'll try to do it, Nathan. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you very much.
I'll keep up with it.
I want to keep an eye on things, as opposed to be distracted with the presenting of photos. A lot of fun today, eh?
Nathan, have you forgotten how we presented to you the hidden values for the Isle of Man? Do you remember that we always quoted the refraction values? And
we've debunked the R value you assumed. You do not see a geometric horizon, and we only have one horizon. So if the horizon we see is not a geometric horizon, then we do not have a geometric horizon. There is only one horizon, and we've debunked this model that you seem to want to get back into. It's a funny coincidence that, because Mind Warped was presenting sort of a gateway into arguing about the curve calculator again. Amazing that. I was quick to point out, however, that we've debunked it with the black swan, and there's no need to ever use the calculator again. It's a completely untenable model, Rumpus. If the Earth is a sphere,
we gave you the
you're talking through me. I'm giving you a justification why I wouldn't ever entertain this curve calculator ever again.
Do you remember
You're censoring
we gave
me?
you the refractive
You're censoring
values
me?
and not the
You're
geometric?
censoring me, Rumpus. I'm going to say my piece, and you're going to damn well listen, or I'm going to kick you out. Choice is yours. Talk to me again. It's bye-bye. We've debunked your model. It's untenable.
I asked the question first.
Bye-bye.
And you didn't...
Yeah, I'm answering you. You want the answer or not? Last chance.
Okay, you answer my question then.
Yeah, so why would we ever consider a refracted value when we've debunked the very tenets of the model, which would be the assumption of an R value giving you a, guess what, geometric horizon? Now that's been debunked, and I'm still in the middle of talking, and he needs to censor this, because the black swan, it seems, has come back into fashion. It's been away for a couple of months thanks to COVID-19, but it's back with a vengeance. It needs to be swept under the rug by their side, so it doesn't need talking about, but it does, because it's the demolition of their model that they seem to want to assume again. What, you want to get back into arguing about how we use refracted in your, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, debunked by the black swan? No, it's untenable. We do not have a geometric horizon. The very thing X marks the spot, the starting point of this maths utilises, and refraction, as Rumpus wants to babble on about, also uses the R value and is begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator, because it's 7/6R. So he's going to need that R value debunked by the black swan. We're not going to get back into arguing this nonsense. We've debunked it. How dare you ask me whether or not I understand the refraction in a model that's dead? No, I don't need to. I'll just whisper black swan. Black swan. Seems the black swan's come into fashion again, QE.
I'm loving every minute of it.
I like...
Yeah, I was talking...
Go on.
Just saying... Because, we're talking about boats over the horizon and he was just saying that can only happen on a curved Earth, and I don't know, I just think it's being dishonest with yourself, saying, you know, that can only happen on a curved Earth, given the fact, you know, we have you know, stuff now on a flat surface where we lower our angle of attack and it disappears because of the angle. So I know, it just strikes me weird how he would just stop himself there to boats going over the curve. That can only happen on a...
the curve. What's the curve, Chocolate?
Chocolate's got us to a meeting.
Oh, is he? The curve, Earth curve, would be the geometric horizon. Now, while I appreciate that it seems there are some efforts going on to weasel their way back into that begging the question curve calculator, I'm going to take great pleasure in this little announcement. Attention, globeheads. You will never, ever be capable of utilising the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator ever again. It has been deemed untenable by way of the Black Swan. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959, then every distance to horizon measurement must be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And the Black Swan annihilates your requirement of this geometric horizon. You don't have an R value anymore. It's not tenable. Bye-bye, globe, and any attempt, like Rumpus, to utilise this begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator will be met with fierce opposition in these words. Black Swan.
When it comes to the horizon, all they have, they're all the only argument they have now is delta X. So how can something be going over delta X? I don't know if you heard me there. Someone kept on talking.
Mazai, you hot micing.
Face gonna get what, yo, G, know what I mean?
1985, he's hot micing.
I've stuck him on server me. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying that their argument for the horizon is delta X. That's been their argument since the start of this year. So how can something be going over delta X? Well, delta X is the supposed refracted horizon, whereas X is the geometric horizon. So you can't go over the refracted horizon, because they say the refracted horizon is always horizontal.
Yeah, they're going to need a geometric physical horizon to qualify how much stuff's hidden in their calculator. They're going to need that based on R. And if they haven't got it, as they're telling us they haven't, we never see it, you wouldn't expect to see it, then they haven't got it. The model implodes, bye-bye globe model, end of ever assuming Earth curve in this calculator ever again. I don't know why they would think they could ham-handedly work their way into begging the question in this calculator again. I don't know why Rumpus thought that was ever going to work. No, my friend. You think when I'm declaring at the beginning of each live show that we're never going to ever beg the question of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon based on an R value ever again, that you can come here and ask me about why you told us refraction worked somehow when it's 7/6 of that R value debunked in the exact same example? No, mate, Black Swan. Are you slow?
That's it. There is refraction. Like, yeah, I seen the Skunk Bay time-lapse footage, so flat all round. The refraction is gone. But again, yeah, the Black Swan is 10 miles plus. Like, if it was around 3 miles or something, you know, I would look into it more or whatever. But there's just too many photos now of it should be at 2-3 miles and it's well past 10 miles. So
And technically, no. Technically, you're right in terms of the actual effects you're describing, but no, when you say flat or round, we have refraction. Well, no, because we've debunked the round version of refraction because it utilises the R value we debunked with the Black Swan. So bye-bye goes the assertion of spherical refraction, 7/6R, also known as terrestrial refraction. It's dependent on an R value, giving you a geometric horizon, that we debunked with the Black Swan. So you can't take a derivative of the R value if we've debunked the R value. Bye-bye goes spherical terrestrial refraction. No more begging the question with R for that either. So no, we're only left with the optical effects of a flat Earth, not the spherical effects of terrestrial refraction. That went bye-bye with the black swan also.
Wait, but the black swan is a swan.
You're a retard.
Right? That's the whole point, is it's still a swan, that in the analogy.
No, that's not the point. That's
All right,
exactly
you're going to talk
not
about the analogy. It's about the horizon. The geometric horizon based on R is debunked. To quote Kosho, who's on the panel currently. To quote Kosho, who's currently on the panel. To quote Kosho, while you interrupt me continually, we wouldn't expect to see it.
And I got a question. Is it really about the swan or the color of the swan?
It's about
the fact that it's still a swan, i.e. it's still a globe.
No, it's the assertion that we have geometric sphere edge horizons. They would be the equivalent of a white swan.
I would say this. The swan is the horizon. The color is the position.
No. Radius is the color. The swan is the globe.
Like we give a shit what you think, Fundy Globehead. This is our example and our argument.
Why would
I'm just saying that's the analogy you're using. So the analogy
Swans are radiuses now.
Yeah, we need you telling us what the analogy is when we're smashing with you all day long. Like when I've just ended a conversation with Rumpus by pointing out that he doesn't have an R value to base terrestrial refraction on, a geometric horizon on, and the rest of his mathematics thereafter on. You think I need you telling me how the analogy works? No, mate, I'm good, thanks.
Well, I'm not telling you, I'm telling the people that are listening. So
no, you're not. I'm telling them what's going on, and you're not doing anything other than getting smashed by me while you talk nonsense about birds.
Well, in your analogy, it's still a globe.
No, in the analogy, if it's a globe, it would have a geometric horizon. It doesn't, therefore it isn't. So no, the analogy based on the assumption of a globe is demolished within the logical consistency. Enjoy the aftertaste.
I don't think you understand the points.
Yeah, if you apply it to the globe, the circumference becomes 200,000 miles or kilometers.
260,000. It's beyond where the moon's orbital claim path in the heliocentric model is. It's absurdly big. How big the Earth would be based on that black swan image if you did the maths.
The best.
Yeah, but I asked people for the maths. I asked Quantum for the maths. Nobody's ever given me the maths.
Who gives a shit? We're basing it on the maths. You can do it yourself if you had half a brain. We should do your homework for you. Sod off. Go and get a bloody maths acumen.
Except the calculation.
Oh, it's based on geometry. If you knew Earth geometry, you could do it yourself.
You messed up the calculation, Nathan.
Did we now? Oh, right. You think you are going to be the arbiter of whether or not we messed up standard globe geometry. Now, it's pretty standard stuff, mate. We haven't messed anything up. You're a moron.
How can you say
then show it? Where's it at?
Hold
Can I
on.
see it?
Hold on a second. How can he say we messed up the calculation when he doesn't know the maths how to get there?
I do. I've looked at it, and it would be extremely, extremely unusual for you.
That's a good point. Didn't he just declare that no one would give him the math?
Yes.
You're making a claim. You're claiming that dude.
You're claiming nobody gave you the math, then telling us that we all messed up the math you've never seen. How the hell would you know if you messed it up if you've never seen it, you double-speaking fundy retard?
Because your value is astronomical.
What value? You told us you haven't had the math.
So I'm telling. I will bet you my left testicle.
Oh, so now it's based on an assumption of your left testicle.
Chop it off, then.
You already owe us your right
You already
testicle,
lost.
you stupid idiot.
Hang on. Didn't I quote Andrew Thomas Young, their subject matter expert, who gave the math for the radius 1.22 times the observer's height? Well,
Yeah.
wasn't that given by their side? And it
Yeah, it's
should
their
be
geometry.
there, but it's not. So who messed up?
We
the
didn't
math,
do a
Kosho?
calculation to show the radius was 160,000
Hang on,
miles.
Kosho, who messed up the math? A.T. Young,
I'm a-
maybe.
I'm unorthodox. I'm not Kosho.
Well, whatever you are, you're missing one of those things, and you only got the left one left. So I wouldn't be talking.
No,
I
you
still
wagered
got
a
it.
testicle last
It's
time.
right here. You want to come check?
Yeah, I don't want to get into talk
Well,
of your testicles anymore if you don't mind.
No, because
I
that's
just
the
don't
only
know why
round
you
thing-
won't present the calculation. Like that's just
That's the only
really
round
strange.
thing you can
to me.
refer
You
to.
won't
That
show
seems to be the
test-
case.
Okay, let me tell him. Because it's an aside. Obviously, it's beyond 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, or we wouldn't have anything to argue about. It's miles beyond that. So obviously, it's going to give you a bigger circumference. The fact that you can put a value on that based on your assumption of having sphericity in the first instance is nigh on irrelevant. It debunks the geometric sphere edge horizon, and that's all I care about. The death of your globe model, surprisingly, not what it could be if you were a winner with a physical radius that grew that day. Yet your Earth radius is never going to grow in size. It's supposed to be a physical rock, set in stone. So the fact that you can ask us, well, how much bigger of a stone would it be based on this demolition and demolishment of my globe religion based on its dying R value, now suddenly much bigger, but I need to argue about how much bigger that rock's grown up by that day. No, mate, it just kills your geometry. Beyond that, I couldn't care less.
What also kills flat Earth? Because
oh, so that's time for non-acknowledgement of the fact that your globe model's dead and time for a segue? Nah, mate. Nah, well, I've not got a model to kill. I don't make any assertions, really. Yeah, the topography's flat. Yeah, if you want to have some bloody straw man argument with me, go ahead. But we've still debunked your globe religion. It's still completely untenable. You still can never assert a hidden value of stuff that's obscured from bottom up. You can still never assert that boats are going over a physical geometric sphere edge. I can still have Alan over a barrel for wasting a year of my life telling us that there was a physical sphere edge block in the beach. I can still pummel you all day long, regardless of your little segue.
Hey, don't blame me.
Blame you for what? Wasting a lot of our time with religious chantings about reified models and how much they block stuff with a geometric horizon. Yeah, I'll tell you off all day long, Fundy. You've got a religion, and you've come here to punt it like a bloody Jehovah's Witness, knocking on people's doors. Doors metaphorically being my viewers and their poor ears and eyes when they had to listen to you with your Fundy chanting of your religious belief in a sphere Earth. How dare you come here with your Fundy religion? Alan, you disgust me. And I'll tell you off for how you've behaved like a disgusting zealot, because you have behaved like a disgusting zealot, Fundy religitard. That's what you are with your bloody globe belief, and I'll tell you off when you're telling us about your physical sphere edges. You deserve telling off. You're a moron with a globe belief you didn't even realise you had.
You still got paid.
You didn't realise that you were a globe believer?
You're a globe believer, you muppet. You've got an untenable model.
Untenable.
Yeah, you don't have an R value to assume anymore, despite the fact that we pointed out that it was ludicrous in the first place to assume it, with you begging the question, i.e. assuming R value, Earth calculator, that hijacked perspective. Yeah, any of this ringing a bell? It was absurd to begin with, but now we've made it untenable. Because just pointing out how ludicrous it was to turn everything you ever see ever into a bloody hologram, it wasn't enough for fundies like you. You still clung tight to your religious belief. Now we've had to make it so that you can't beg the question of an R value by making the model, quote, untenable. Maybe you'd like to laugh it up, you fundy tard. Yeah, what a shock. That's called cognitive dissonance, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. When you're faced with a paradigm shift that you can't mentally cope with, you laugh.
You fucking crazy.
Yeah, or swear. Or swear. Not often Alan swears, but I'm telling him off for his religious belief. So he needs to swear at me and laugh.
Is that Alan?
Yeah, that's Alan being told off by me.
Yeah, Alan B's been through the development of all the housekeeping questions.
What happened to his voice? Did they finally neuter your dumbass?
No, he was always like that. He never had any balls.
Hello, John.
That's what happens to them when they're like unorthodox. You know, they wager their testicles and end up like Alan B.
Yeah.
Well, not there yet, buddy.
Oh, yes, you are.
And not saying that I would become like Alan B.
You
I'm just
already
saying
wagered it, buddy. You already wagered your testicle. You know what's going to happen.
I haven't lost.
Right?
In fact,
You know what's
QE
going to
owes me a
happen
testicle, if I'm
karmically,
not
right?
mistaken.
No.
And in the basis of the calculation that we spoke about earlier.
Back to this nonsense, red herring. Oh, the one that if by justification it would mean you've no longer got a geometric horizon, that calculation. Maybe concede that by asking us for how big the Earth would be, given that you've got an extended radius value with the black swan image debunking your geometric horizon, maybe address the fact that it debunks your religion of a globe Earth and makes it untenable, rather than asking us how massive the Earth would be if you did the calculation.
The calculations he doesn't have.
Well, I don't
but
think
we got him wrong.
I don't think it does, but at first we need to assess your calculation.
Well,
That's
I thought you said that they were
portion,
wrong already.
You don't even know
Well,
the
we need to see it, tell whether it's
It's
right or
not-
wrong, but
hang
you won't
on,
show
hang
it,
on.
You
which is
still
a little
don't know
odd.
the calculation, and yet
No.
you
Hang
claim
on.
again that the calculation
Don't,
is wrong.
don't let them do this. It's not our calculations. It's your calculations for your model by your subject matter experts.
Calculation.
So get it
Nobody
straight.
on my side calculated the radius to be 160,000 miles. That did not happen.
Who cares?
That's not. Oh.
Who cares what you did?
But
Thanks.
they did
Welcome
give us
to
a
Flat Earth.
number. But they did give us a number, right? What's that number?
They gave you a formula,
Unorthodox.
and you input
No, what's
numbers
the number?
improperly.
What's the
Apparently,
number? What's the radius of your model? What is it? I'll give you
about 395.
That's the start. Oh, perfect. So we have a number, and we can hold accountable that number. Correct?
Correct.
So at that 1 foot observer height, where should that geometric horizon be? Off of that number of yours?
Well, if you ignore the fact that there's an atmosphere and
Why would we do
I don't know
that?
why you would want to do that.
Sorry, why would we need to do that?
Yeah, why would you need to do that? Why would you need to do
I don't know. You told me if we ignore an atmosphere. I merely said why.
Say it again, you broke up.
Yeah, you stated if we don't have an atmosphere or if we ignore... Why would we do that was my reply. And then you asked it me with a burden of proof reversal fallacy.
Well, he just stated that's 1.22 miles. That's ignoring refraction.
Why is that ignoring refraction?
If I need to explain that to you,
It's
then
your
there's no point
claim.
in having this
It's
conversation.
your claim. He's given a geometric measurement. That's all he's done. It's just geometry, mate. It's just maths. Are you dumb? Don't you know how to do geometry? That's a question. Do you know how to do
Well, you're
geometry or
doing
not?
geometry.
It's
You're
just a
doing
geometric...
geometry and optics. You're talking about...
sorry, he's doing geometry. Why are you talking about optics? You see, when we were arguing about this with people like Alan, when we brought up optics, we were called flat-tards. Not optics, geometry, moron. We're not talking about optics. Your model's geometric. Do you not get that? Don't talk through me when I point out your stupidity. Only not so long ago, whenever we brought up optics, we were called stupid. We were told it's only geometry. Now we're talking geometry, and I'm asking you, do you understand he's just talking about geometry? And you're asking us about whether or not we remove atmospheres? We're just talking about geometry, mate. I don't know where you're getting this atmosphere from and removing it. What kind of nonsense is this?
Nathan, I first heard of your show a little bit over a year.
That's a nice little red herring obfuscation fallacy sidestep. So why are you asking us about refraction? Why are you asking us about sucking out atmospheres? What is all this nonsense about optics when we're talking about geometry? I don't get it. You need to talk to Tim Osman. Right, he's got a whole long list of things that used to be deemed stupid by globeheads because they weren't assertions of geometric earth curve. So anything optical is deemed flat-tard by people like Tim Osman. Now you're justifying something to do with optics. Are you a flat-tard?
No, I'm not retarded, sorry.
So why are you talking about optics and failing to understand that we're talking about geometry?
You're asking me why I'm talking about optics when we're talking about optics. That makes...
We're talking about geometry. Tim Osman's got a list of all sorts of optical phenomena that we have detailed with examples from P900s and P1000s of things that happen in the atmosphere. Now, those things have been qualified with descriptions, with definitions and examples, and then they've been put on a list and deemed the nonsense of flat-tards. Now, these are all optical effects. Now, that's a long list of things that have been called stupid by your side when we've asserted them in defence to a geometric claim of Earth curve. Now, you've only got one cause on your side of this globe assertion. That's R. The R value, Earth radius. Sphere Earth getting in the way. And don't say refraction because that's also based on R, 7/6R. So you're gonna need geometry. It's the foundation and it's what we're discussing. But you seem to revert to all of our flat earth arguments that were deemed stupid by your own side. So I'll say it again. We're talking about the death of your geometry and your utilisation of our defences, which is optical phenomena, won't fly when we're ripping your geometry to pieces. And geometry it is, sunshine. It's not an optical calculator. It's a geometric one. The one that's dying, your globe earth calculator, that'd be geometric, mate. Do you understand, Fundy with a dying geometry?
What model of camera?
The geometric heliocentric dying globe earth model, moron. The one you're here to argue on flat earth debate. The one that the 90% of the Western world believe they're standing on. A globe earth utilising a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator. The reason, for the last 12 months, maybe 18, maybe 2 years, I've been saying the words perspective hijacking is because your calculator doesn't deal in optics. It deals in geometry. That's the 5th time I've told you what your religion is, you Fundy.
You're arguing against straw man.
What, you're straw man of a globe earth based on R? Yeah, we all think that on the flat earth side. Assertions of a debunked R value to give you geometric sphere edges blocking things in the distance is merely a straw man utilised by fundies with religious beliefs. Glad you agree. Welcome to flat earth.
All right then. Any evidence of geometric horizon? That's it. I know that is
wobbly Earth. It's the
Yes.
wobbly Earth. I called it 2 years ago. It's flexible. The surface is flexible, and it's not optics that makes things bend around. No, it's just the wobbly physical nature of the Earth that sometimes makes it look flat and sometimes makes it look curved. If you all tie it together, then it has to be a ball for some reason because people keep on believing it. And yeah, majority consensus and all. And that's science.
Pound says Alan now pipes up and implies that the entire basis of the show is that one statement, ignoring all other demolitions of his religion. Go ahead, Alan.
Did
I don't know why people are so dishonest with themselves. Or
Yeah, we hear you, Owen.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, we heard you.
Okay. I think I was like on weird auto mute again.
No.
Before this.
No, I had to close the line to G Plus because Mindwarped decided that he was going to obfuscate every word everybody said on both panels and the Discord and me.
Yeah, the guy was on vodka. He literally said that in my chat.
Yeah, I think he was just drunk. He spoke to me earlier today and he wasn't drunk. And we had a very coherent and nice discussion about the presentation. And when he presented it to me, it was a really good presentation. He laid out all the details. He explained why he was giving the demonstration in the first instance, gave the stats, told the measurements. As I was watching it, and I was like, oh, I really wish I'd recorded this Skype call, just in case he's not around later. Because I messed up where I thought the time zones were. Nevertheless, he turned up and he's like shit-faced. I'm like, oh, great. This is going to go well.
Right. Yeah, I did a bit of a flat earth debate skit as well, like triangulating some visuals he did with Google Maps and all that. It was a pretty good video.
It is. It's a good observation, but without sounding horrible to him, it was only useful for the 2018, 2017 utilisation of the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator, so he could argue about how much it had come back from behind the curve with refraction, because it wasn't a black swan. Now that almost, when I say that, sounds like, oh, well, if it's not a black swan, it's not good enough. But that is actually the case now. The bar's been raised.
Oh, right. If your camera is not literally being hit by the waves, it's not good enough anymore now?
No. Black swan isn't being hit by the waves. A black swan is having a geometric horizon beyond 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, look, the camera being pretty much at water level is what absolutely kills the geometry idea more than anything else, because suddenly you can see miles away when literally zero height, that kind of craziness. So that's what I was pointing at.
Yeah, I mean, Heath
Not
Carmody's
low
doing
enough,
that.
it's not good enough.
And I mean, Heath Carmody's got a waterproof camera with a really high zoom on it. And he's out looking at this campsite miles and miles away and showing the water level physically rising and lowering and what that does, and showing the different effects with the temperatures in the day and what that does, showing his black swan images with very carefully calculated distance to horizons, with comparisons to how much it would be if it was showing us perfectly flat, showing us a concave Earth, showing us a globe Earth. He's got them all marked out with little lines. He's doing an exceptional... It's like, when I watch his videos, I'm like, I hear people in my comments say, dead swan. No other qualification, just dead swan. And you're like, yeah, that's why you've got people like Heath Carmody making the Swanalyzer and processing people's observations and going back in this, troubling time to stick his camera physically in the water at point zero. You can't give him any inches. There should be drop immediately. He's on the horizon. You know what I mean?
Yep. Nah, but I don't know. The ballers are starting to kind of rearrange of what they think the black swan is. Like now that they figured out with our black swan argument that we've absolutely slaughtered them. There's like not a millimeter left, for them to maneuver. So now they're taking a step back and trying to misinterpret what it's really about. So they can have some flexibility towards a tangent red herring situation every time.
They don't know the argument yet. They don't know the argument yet.
No, but
they don't.
But they don't on purpose now.
Yeah,
they
agree with
could,
that.
but they evade it on purpose.
They're
they
living.
never get it.
Go on, 10th.
And don't allow it to sink in, as it were. Sorry.
Yeah, okay, Arwen. We've heard that 5 times. Go on, 10th.
They're living in denial. They used to tell us that the bottom of boats, and this is for 100+ years, not just 2017 and 18, that the Earth curve is what's blocking the bottom of things, right? I mean, this is what they were telling us all this time. It's the Earth curve. Well, that would mean the geometric horizon where the Earth starts curving, and that's off of the radius of 3959. And so then when you go down to that level of Heath Carmody's at the water level, like the surfer photographers do that. I sent some pictures in the past of that. That was great. Or PLM SB 69. It's not there. It's not there. So now what are they saying? It's perspective. Well, welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah, I fully enjoyed taking a strip off Unorthodox because, 12 months ago, Tim Osmond telling us that every excuse we ever make is merely that, an excuse for why we are seeing Earth curve, because they've only got one assertion, geometric Earth curve. That's it. Because none of the optical effects are worth looking at, they're just worth laughing at and listing as excuses that flat earthers make. Now, well, let's take into account the optical effects that we... whoa. No, your religion's based in geometry. Well, no, we've got to start sucking out atmospheres and worrying about how we see these things. What, the optical effects? No. When we used that excuse, we were told, no, we're turning the world side on 90 degrees Muppet vision and dealing with geometry. Don't you understand how this works?
Well, did you ever hear a flat earther ever say perspective was because atmosphere was sucked out or left alone? We never used a crutch like that, so they have to make up something.
Well, what they're going to slowly do is work their way through the reality of all of the things we discovered when we were pulling apart what they claimed was only attributable to geometry, and the R value, and earth curve obstruction, physical, getting in the way of buildings and how much it's blocking it by, and then when it doesn't quite work, bringing them back with respect to the horizon, to quote Rumpus. As soon as you debunk the physicality of their geometric sphere edge horizon, the model implodes. It's the end of the model. There's no more model to assert. The order of today was to come in, Rumpus at least, and start arguing about how the refraction worked in the model. Didn't you understand how we told you about our begging the question model that you've debunked worked? Oh, like I care how your busted up old car works now. It's in the scrap heap. Yeah, we care about how the steering rack worked on your car that's about to be crushed. Yeah, I really care about that. No, mate. The refraction worked with an R value, Rumpus, in case you watch this back on the replay or you're an audience member that wants to know how their lie gets demolished and never to be used again. His claim that I didn't understand how the refraction in their model worked was based on an R value we debunked with the Black Swan. The image on screen now gives you a physical geometric horizon in the same vicinity as the orbital claimed to be, begging the question, path of the moon when it's circling around a tiny little ball Earth in a vacuum. Well, that's a pretty big circumference, and it isn't. It just means you haven't got a geometric horizon anymore. It's completely untenable as a model.
Well, there's a tendency for the ballers to make stuff up, right? And remember the Coriolis, which is, well, the reason the plane doesn't experience Earth-based Coriolis is because it's a powered flight. When the very thing that the powered flight would do would be in the air longer and the Earth could turn even more underneath. It's so ludicrous that now they have to say it's the atmosphere. If it was missing, it would be there at the 1.22 mile mark. It is so, I mean, they're insane.
Man is confused in Coriolis.
What?
I said 10th man is still very confused about Coriolis.
Define Coriolis.
The apparent deflection in a rotating reference frame.
And what else?
It's a pseudo force.
And then inertial. You need two reference frames, knucklehead.
You understand you need two reference frames?
Two reference frames. Sweet.
Yeah, two reference frames.
So maybe that's the two reference frames.
So to have Earth-based Coriolis effect, we'd need Earth being the non-inertial spinning reference frame, and anything that leaves that non-inertial spinning reference frame to be entering into the inertial reference frame and therefore show a deflection.
No, things don't traverse reference frames.
I didn't ask you what things do. I asked you if you understood how Earth-based Coriolis effect would be defined. And that would be that things that are travelling through the inertial reference frame, because the inertial reference frame is the frame of reference not attached to the non-inertial spinning reference frame. And in a globe Earth example of Coriolis, anything that leaves the non-inertial spinning reference frame is subject to an apparent deflection because it's left the spinning reference frame. So we've got two reference frames in the claim of a globe Earth that spins. Non-inertial spinning reference frame claimed to be spinning ball Earth, and inertial reference frame, anything that leaves it. So Neil deGrasse Tyson examples this with a ball that's kicked, and from the stands it looked like it curved. It didn't actually curve, it went in a pretty much straight line, but Earth turned underneath the ball when it left the non-inertial spinning reference frame, entered the inertial reference frame, and seemed to deviate as the audience watched it from the stands. So I wasn't asking you for an opinion about anything that did anything. I was giving you clarity about what the claim is of an Earth spinning underneath stuff is, and whether or not you understood it.
You don't understand it. Things don't leave reference frames, first of all.
Well, I didn't ask you that.
Here we go again.
Things don't leave reference frames.
It's almost down.
Yeah, I went through this with you, and I think at the end, when I went through this with you last time, Zanuck, I had to scream bloody murder that I was Miley Cyrus, because I explained that if I was on a pendulum and I climbed off it, I would leave one reference frame and enter another, me personally, with my vision. So I personally can definitely leave a reference frame and enter another reference frame, as can a drone. If you're watching it and it's still attached to the same spinning reference frame that you're on, and then it takes off, it leaves that reference frame. So you don't understand Coriolis. You're a moron if you think things can't leave reference frames and change reference frames.
It's impossible. By definition, you cannot leave reference frames.
Wait, Zanuck, are you saying Neil deGrasse Tyson?
You're using a reference frame from an object. A reference frame is an environment for which you view motion. It's a point coordinate system. You can't leave it. Once you
no, that's fair enough. Yeah,
is it a mathematical construct? Is that what reference frame is?
We're not describing me leaving a reference frame when we describe Coriolis. We're describing a projectile. So you just didn't understand my example. It's probably because you talked through 90% of it. So I'll try again. Maybe you're a bit slow, but we'll try again. The projectile that was detailed by Neil deGrasse Tyson. It was the projectile that left the non-inertial spinning reference frame and entered the inertial reference frame, it was the ball that went from non-inertial to inertial reference frame, and the apparent deflection was observed from people on the stands. I made that really clear, you dumbo. The people on the stands stayed where they were. The ball left reference frames that were spinning, claimed to be spinning, not actually spinning, complete lie, because if this effect was true, to get down to brass tacks, that effect that Neil deGrasse Tyson asserted, which is the ball left a spinning reference frame and entered an inertial reference frame, giving rise to a claimed apparent deviation, then the ball would have the Earth turning underneath it. And likewise, the Earth would turn underneath aeroplanes that were flying over the stadium. And if Earth's turning underneath an aeroplane, then a Charlotte, North Carolina flight to LA would only take an hour and a half because the Earth would turn underneath. But that doesn't happen. It takes 4.5 hours to get from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA because the Earth isn't turning underneath any aeroplane, as it was asserted by Neil deGrasse Tyson that Earth turned underneath that football. So, as exampled, the ball leaves the reference frame that's claimed to be spinning, and as it travelled through the air like the aeroplane over the top of the stadium, it's claimed that the Earth turned underneath the ball and would therefore have to turn underneath the plane, and it doesn't, because it would shorten the flight time, Zanik.
Okay. You don't
Yeah, that doesn't make any
understand
sense.
how
Nonsensical. I
you
agree.
don't understand what a reference frame is, and you are giving bad examples that are inaccurate and incorrect. You want me to explain why?
Question. Let me ask Zanik a question.
He talked through you.
Zanik, can an object
cannot
moving in a
leave
straight
reference
line
frames.
experience centrifugal force?
Pardon me?
Can an
Pardon
object
me?
moving in a straight line experience centrifugal force?
Yes.
Really? So
Hold
something
on.
moving in a straight line
Hold on,
can
Paul,
have a
hold on.
centrifugal
What does
force?
Something.
Hold on.
Yes. If there's a force acting on it,
What force would be acting on something moving in a straight line?
yeah. For example, you hitting your car door if you make a sharp turn, that's a centrifugal
It's not
force.
turning in a
Hitting
straight.
centrifugal
That's not a
force.
straight line.
Straight.
Straight line is dumb, Paul. I'll just have to slowly say it to him.
If
The
you
item
hit
being
something
described was.
in
Did you ask
straight line? That's centrifugal force.
Zanik, as the host, I'm
Centrifugal
trying to bring
force-
clarity
you're not
to somebody
understanding what
stupid.
a reference frame is.
Zanik,
You
you're
don't
not
leave
shutting
it.
up.
himself, that's
You're
why.
doing a mind
You
warp,
You don't leave
Zanik.
it. Paul,
Doing a
are you
mind
that
warp,
confused?
Zanik. Zanik,
If you're in a
doing a
straight
bit of a
line
mind warp,
and the
aren't you?
car
You're talking
turns
non-stop.
and you get the door,
Is it time for you to
that's
leave, Zanik?
centrifugal force.
Is it time for you to leave?
It's reference frame
Zanik,
dependent.
I'm the one talking. That means shut up. Last chance, then I'm going to remove you because you're becoming intolerable. Zanik, he said a straight line and asked you about, was it centripetal or centrifugal forces, Paul?
Well, centrifugal forces, I guess, whatever, like something that's kind of curving, like a roundabout. You know what I mean? That's things moving. If I'm in a car in a
Yeah,
roundabout, I'm
centrifugal.
going around in a circle, centrifugal, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so his question contains a contradiction in terms to establish if you think that something travelling in a straight line has curved forces attached to it.
By viewing it in a non-inertial reference frame.
He didn't ask if it was being viewed. He asked if the projectile... I see. It's like with the football. You seem to be conflating what we see with what a projectile does. He's asked very specifically about an item travelling in a straight line, and now you're telling us about what something sees from somewhere. No, he's talking about the projectile.
Let me clarify it too, Nathan. I didn't say can you view it experiencing forces. I said, does it experience forces? Like if I'm in a car in a roundabout, I am experiencing that force, right? But can something moving in a straight line experience that same force? I didn't say anything about reference frames. I didn't say anything about that. And reference frames are mathematical constructs anyway.
No, they're not. They are actually the environment for which you view or experience motion. So if you're going in a straight line, you're saying, can you experience centrifugal force?
Yes, that's what he's asked. Yes, that is what he asked.
When you are now having a non-inertial reference frame, a rotating reference frame, that reference frame will and part.
He didn't mention anything about anything rotating whatsoever. He just asked if an item travelling in a straight line experiences centrifugal forces. The answer is yes or no. It's a closed question.
Yes, something moving in a straight line will absolutely experience a centrifugal force.
Wow.
Really? Wow. Okay. That's new one on me. Because if it's an apparent deflection, that means there's no real forces acting upon it. It's just moving in a straight line. It's looking like it's deflecting, but it's not really. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a contradiction in terms to assert that an item travelling in a straight line is experiencing a centrifugal force, because that would mean it's taking a curved path. So he's got a slight confusion with all of this. He doesn't really understand when we're talking about projectiles and what they do. He constantly talks about what we see. And the problem is with Coriolis effect is that what we see of an aeroplane seeming to take a curved path, that's Coriolis deviation and not actual curved path. The plane travelling in a straight line, but Earth rotating underneath, or claimed to be, would leave you with flight times being shortened. And we don't experience shortened flight times with Earth rotating underneath ever. That simply doesn't happen. It's the thing that debunks the globe Earth spinning, in fact. The Coriolis deviation that they claim you would see would also necessitate flight times being shortened, because you have to have Earth turning underneath stuff to have the apparent deflection. And if Earth's turning underneath stuff, flight times are shortened. And they're not. Drones would drift away from you as soon as you launch them, and they don't. Balloons would go up and have continents come towards them just by going up in the air, but that never happens, because Earth isn't rotating underneath. Therefore, we never see a Coriolis deviation, an apparent deflection, because Earth's rotating underneath, because it isn't. We never see shortened flight times. But because of that, because we're debunking Earth turn with the Coriolis effect, the fundies come here and obfuscate and talk about whether or not we understand reference frames, rather than accepting that Earth isn't rotating underneath anything to give them a deflection.
Can I quote?
I'm just
Neil
amazed
deGrasse
that
Tyson?
all your points, you haven't come up with one legitimate criticism. That's
my criticism would
I
be.
was in the middle.
I'll give that now. My legitimate criticism, no problem. I can do that very concisely. If the Earth was turning, then we would, from the ground, experience a Coriolis deviation, because Earth is rotating underneath helicopters, aeroplanes, drones, anything that leaves a non-inertial reference frame. That's what must happen for there to be a Coriolis deviation. And if we're experiencing a Coriolis deviation in things like balls and bullets claimed by Neil deGrasse Tyson, then we'd have shortened flight times because Earth would be rotating underneath aeroplanes. How's that for a constructive criticism of a bullshit sphere Earth that's spinning being debunked by its lack of Coriolis deviation in the form of aeroplanes not having Earth turning underneath them?
Well, the Earth doesn't turn underneath them.
Yeah, I agree. Earth doesn't turn underneath them. That's right, Zanik. It would need to, though, if you were going to experience Coriolis deviation.
Excuse me, Paul. Before you, Paul, hang on, Paul. Zanik, what did you just say about the Earth not turning?
The Earth does not spin underneath you if you're.
Well, then we don't have a Coriolis deviation. That's the necessary requirement. A non-inertial spinning reference frame under an inertial reference frame, like Neil deGrasse Tyson explained, you dumbo. So Neil deGrasse Tyson claimed that Earth turned underneath the football. So from the stands, it seemed to take a curved path into the goal. But really, the ball travelled straight according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and the Earth and goalposts turned underneath. That's why it seemed to take a curved path from the stands. It didn't actually take a curved path. It was the Earth claimed to be turning underneath. The problem with that assertion from Neil deGrasse Tyson is, if the Earth's turning underneath the ball as it travels through the air, then it also turns underneath an aeroplane as it travels through the air. And if Earth's turning underneath aeroplanes as they travel underneath the... if Earth turns underneath aeroplanes as they travel through the air, then you have reduced flight times. But we don't. For an example, Charlotte to LA would take an hour and a half if Earth was rotating underneath, because you're travelling west and LA is coming towards you if Earth was turning underneath. But it doesn't. We have a 4.5 hour flight time because Earth isn't turning underneath anything, as correctly identified by Zanik. Earth is not turning underneath. But that's what would give you a Coriolis effect. Earth turning underneath stuff like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, but even at trench level, They have to try and claim it doesn't turn underneath. It's actually spinning together with the atmosphere, violating laws of gas. But there we go. We won't get into that because we can just debunk the claim that we have Earth-based Coriolis effect, because that would require Earth turning underneath. And our opponent in this regard, Zanuck, is telling us Earth doesn't turn underneath. Well, if it doesn't turn underneath, no Coriolis effect. Spinning Earth debunked, because that's the claim we have that proves spinning Earth, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, a Coriolis deviation, and not actual deflection of a ball, because Earth turned underneath is what Neil deGrasse Tyson's claiming, proving spinning Earth. But these fundies here, they say no, Earth doesn't turn underneath. Therefore, Neil deGrasse Tyson's wrong. We don't have Coriolis deviation. We don't have a proof that Earth spins then, because that's the proof that Earth spins according to him.
Well,
Could you repeat that again, like 5 times in a row?
Hold on. So let me make it very clear. The Earth does not spin underneath.
We know, and it would need to have a Coriolis deviation, Zanuck. For there to be a Coriolis deviation, if you're on a roundabout and you throw a ball in the air, if the roundabout's not spinning underneath the ball when you throw it up in the air, there's no deviation if the roundabout's not spinning. But if you spin the roundabout and then throw the ball, the roundabout spins underneath. That's what gives you Coriolis effect. So if Earth's going to give us Coriolis effect, it must spin underneath, Zanuck. But like you say, it doesn't. And if it doesn't spin underneath, we've got no Coriolis proof in the form of an Earth turning underneath. Because that's what you need, mate.
Conservation of linear momentum.
Well, that's not Coriolis effect. Well, sorry. It's okay, guys. Let me just explain. He's dumb. No. Neil deGrasse Tyson wasn't claiming conservation of linear momentum proves Earth spins. He was claiming Coriolis effect proves Earth spins, you moron. So you need to contact your Neil deGrasse Tyson priest and tell him that he should be arguing for conservation of linear momentum to prove that Earth's spinning. No, mate. Conservation of linear momentum wouldn't prove Earth spins. That's why it's not talked about by Neil deGrasse Tyson. He talks about Coriolis effect, you muppet.
Going northward.
Hang on, Zanuck. I'm going to quote Neil deGrasse Tyson.
You can quote him all you want.
Twitter. I thank you. Just let me, if you would. Neil deGrasse Tyson, October 11, 2015. Today's at Bengals winning overtime field goal was likely enabled by a 1/3 in deflection to the right, caused by Earth's rotation. End quote.
Yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson's claiming an apparent deflection of the ball because of the Earth claimed to be rotating underneath, Zanuck. That's a claim of Coriolis deflection. He's not claiming conservation of angular momentum. He's claiming Coriolis deviation, a deflection, apparent deviation from the stands, the ball looking like it curves, because he's claiming Earth's turning underneath. But as I keep pointing out, if Neil deGrasse Tyson's assertion that we have a non-inertial spinning reference frame of a ball Earth, and the ball leaves that spinning reference frame to give the viewers of the ball an apparent deviation, then it implies that Earth's turning underneath the ball, and would also turn underneath a drone, and a helicopter, and an aeroplane, and a hot air balloon, and anything else that leaves the non-inertial spinning claim to be reference frame of a ball Earth that spins. But the fact that there isn't reduced flight times from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA, flying west, Earth turning underneath would give you LA coming towards you as Earth turned underneath the plane, and it would reduce the flight time to 1.5 hours. But that doesn't happen. Therefore, the stupid nonsense asserted that we have a Coriolis deviation, asserted by your priests, not by you, you're a moron. Those assertions, by your actual rhetoric, by your actual globe origin, are debunked by aeroplanes not having Earth turn underneath.
Only going southward.
Not only going south. It doesn't matter which way I toss the ball on a roundabout. If the roundabout's turning, you get deflection. It makes absolutely no difference which way the ball's being thrown. If I'm rotating underneath it, it's going to look like it's curving away from me regardless of which direction I throw it. It doesn't matter which way the ball is kicked on the football field either. If Earth's turning underneath, Earth's turning underneath. So it makes no difference about the direction. It's not part of the definition. It's only part of the definition when it's a convoluted cluster screw of Earth-based Coriolis assertions in doublespeak nonsense, where they simultaneously claim that we have an apparent deflection, i.e. Coriolis effect in its actuality, and winds being whipped up somehow with a not actual force of Coriolis. That's the kind of nonsense reference you'll find where it's claimed that the direction's important. It isn't. It doesn't matter which way I throw the ball off a roundabout. You get deflection if the roundabout's turning underneath.
Stop for a second.
Pardon?
Only in the northern hemisphere does an object accelerate.
Why are you begging the question of hemispheres? Oh, man. You can't just throw in this begging the question fallacy that we're on a hemisphere now. Why would you do that, Zanuck? You don't get to beg the question here, even when we're discussing actual effects of real things like Coriolis effect that aren't demonstrated on a spinning Earth. But you're not going to beg the question of hemispheres ham-handedly. You're not going to get away with that.
Objects going northward will accelerate ahead of the Earth. Objects going southward, the Earth will move underneath it. You
just said that Earth doesn't turn underneath it. So you're double speaking. So earlier, Zanuck made a very clear declaration that Earth does not turn underneath. Now he's claiming that dependent on direction, Earth does turn underneath. So just in case you missed it on the last few shows, Rumpus and Zanuck are both fundamentalist religious zealot liars. He's made a very clear declaration here today. Earth does not turn underneath. Now he's detailing with a convoluted cluster screw of nonsense-based assertions of Earth-based Coriolis effect that Earth under certain circumstances does indeed turn underneath. It doesn't. It's either turning underneath or it's not turning underneath. And the claim that is asserted to prove that Earth is spinning is that it's turning underneath, as detailed by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Now, I realise that in the trench level, you're here to just double-speak fundy obfuscate this point, that you should have Coriolis deviation, and it would be displayed in things like planes, by asserting that both Earth doesn't turn underneath stuff, and then give us an example of how it does, like you're about to.
Not northward. Nathan, northbound objects, they
I have my
ahead of
favorite
you.
citation for
Southbound
these clowns.
objects, Earth spins underneath it.
He's just said it again. Earth spins underneath it. Southbound objects, Earth spin underneath. He's a liar. He's made it very clear earlier. We got it nice and clear without interruption. The Earth does not spin underneath. Now he's saying the complete contrapositive, a complete contradiction. He's now saying under certain circumstances, it does turn underneath. So it's a fundamental contradiction from a liar selling you a religion. That's why he's got to lie. That's why he needs something that should be mutually exclusive, something that should be constant, happening under certain circumstances that he'll double-speak fundy mute me around and talk through every word I say when I'm detailing how he's lying with two different positions held in contradiction.
Yep. Let me finish a sentence. It won't
Nathan, I have my favorite citation for this in Ballbusters, if you want to pull that up real quick.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to read it out? I've got it up.
That's been provided to me by Kosho and provided to other flat earthers by M. Scott Reach or whatever his name is. Yeah. The object, well, let me start with the causes of the Coriolis effect. Zanuck. The main cause of the Coriolis effect is the Earth's rotation. As the Earth spins in a counterclockwise direction on its axis, anything flying or flowing over a long distance above its surface is deflected. This occurs because as something moves freely above the Earth's surface, the Earth moves east under the object at a faster speed. Rest in peace, Zanuck.
Yeah, so essentially to have any Coriolis deviation, it requires the Earth to rotate underneath, like Neil deGrasse Tyson says. And if Earth's rotating underneath a football, it must also rotate underneath a plane, and it doesn't. The thing that's going to show the most deviation is the thing that's in the air for the greatest period of time. And if you're talking about Coriolis deflection, it would be you staring up at the plane and going, oh wow, it looks like it's curving. Looks like, because it's actually travelling straight, with the Earth rotating underneath to make it look like it's curving. And if Earth's rotating underneath a plane, the flight times travelling west are going to be significantly shortened. In the case of Charlotte, North Carolina to LA, shortened from 4.5 hours down to an hour and a half, because you've got LA travelling towards the plane as you travel towards it. That would be what happens if Earth's rotating underneath to give you the Coriolis claim to be proof Earth spins. We don't have that, therefore we don't have a Coriolis proof that Earth spins. Now the rebuttal to that is to say, no, we've got conservation of angular momentum. Well, that's not a proof Earth spins. That's where we end up with dicks like Simon Dan showing us trampolines with guys bouncing and not deflecting. Well, it's like, well, that's not a proof Earth spins. It's supposed to be deflecting. You're supposed to have Coriolis effect, not justify why you don't. That's a poor attempt at proving Earth spins, justifying why you don't have proof Earth spins in the form of Coriolis.
Conservation of angular momentum specifically says that momentum cannot be destroyed or created, right? So as you go north, you accelerate ahead of the Earth. As you go south, the Earth spins underneath you.
No, you've just made it.
The Earth! You just contradicted yourself again.
He's done it again.
It
Yeah.
does spin
Yeah,
underneath
Zanuck,
you
you
then.
did.
That's
You just
that's
said
funny.
it spins underneath, but didn't say it doesn't.
Way to go, Zanuck.
Yeah. These people, just for the audience's benefit again, we're not allowing them to lie to you. They're lying to you. He's got two mutually exclusive positions held at the same exact time. Position number 1, declared twice with open air. Earth does not rotate underneath. Then, only moments ago and several times prior, Earth rotates underneath. No, to have Coriolis effect, it must rotate underneath. If it rotates underneath, we've got shortened flight times. Amazing how quick we can get this going down the drain, isn't it, Zanuck? Even with you talking to me.
Listen, only going south does the Earth rotate underneath the object. Going north.
There you go again, saying, does the Earth rotate? Only going south does Earth rotate under an object. So according to him now, Earth can, in quotes, rotate underneath things. But he's already made it clear to the audience, Earth does not rotate underneath. So those two positions are mutually exclusive. You can't hold both of them at the same time. He's in violation of the law of non-contradiction. The reason is because Earth doesn't turn underneath aeroplanes, drones, helicopters, hot air balloons, bullets, balls, or anything for that matter. Nothing is experiencing Earth turning underneath it. And because we're not experiencing Earth turning underneath, we don't have a proof Earth spins. Because the proof Earth spins requires Earth turns underneath stuff to show balls deflecting and bullets deflecting. But it would also show planes deflecting, and their flight times would be reduced for us to have that visual effect. And the only get out for them is to say Earth doesn't rotate underneath, when it's required to justify why we're not experiencing it. Only to later say, it does rotate underneath under these circumstances though, because I still need to hold true to a Coriolis proof that Earth's spinning at some point during this argument, while I declare openly and boldly that Earth doesn't rotate underneath, which is what Zanuck's done. Told you it doesn't, then tell you it does. Violating the law of non-contradiction.
Going north, it
What
doesn't.
does this double speed work on? You know this double speed doesn't work on us anymore, right?
Going
Who does
south.
this bullshit work on?
Two
How many times are you going to say
conditions.
it doesn't spin underneath or it does spin underneath? Like, pick one, bro.
Yeah, all he's got is he's chanting his rhetoric constantly, saying going south it does rotate underneath now. He's just got to chant that non-stop so no one in the Discord can hear anything of us demolishing his religion.
Two
not like a clown.
Going northward, objects accelerate ahead of the Earth. Going southward, the Earth spins underneath it.
So what you're saying is at some point the airplane takes off and the Earth is not spinning underneath it, but then at some point it starts spinning underneath it. Is that what you're saying?
It's gone beyond that. He's gone into complete triggered fundy mode now. So he's literally like Rumpus yesterday, not listening to a single word anybody says because he detects that his religious rhetoric's being taken to pieces. Therefore, the order of the day is to chant non-stop the same thing over and over and over again, hoping that it will rewire his cognition and solve this violation of the law of non-contradiction. See, every time I try and point out what he's doing, he carries on doing it. He's hoping to keep his wiring intact. That's what this is. It's cognitive pain. So if he can talk through me long enough, he won't have to rewire his brain and accept that he's violating the law of non-contradiction.
I got a question before I got to go here in a minute. Hold on. I got a question. Zanuck, can something abstract be real?
Something abstract is abstract. It's an idea.
Okay. Define the difference between abstract and real.
An idea versus reality.
Okay. What's the definition of a reference frame?
A environment for which you view motion.
Wikipedia, in physics, a frame of reference or reference frame consists of an abstract coordinate system and a set of physical reference points that uniquely fix the coordinate system or standardized measurement within the frame. So you're saying, and you said earlier that the reference frame was real. So which is it? Is a reference frame real or abstract?
It's real, but it is an abstract also, because you have an abstract which is a description of that reality.
What?
That's the law of identity. Wait a minute. That's the law of identity violation.
Correct. Perfect doublespeak to end the show on. It's both abstract and real. It's both non-real and real. A violation of the law of non-contradiction in a single breath. With that, I'll say a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of you tuned in on the Nathan Oakley Premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to today's Discord G+ panels for making today's after show possible. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!